It is the Easy Sports Talk Show hosted by me, Javon Adams, and the one and only Ed Smith. We do this 3 times during the week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Tell a friend to tell a friend about what we got going on here. Like, share, subscribe, like, share, subscribe. You can also check out easysportstalk.com. Again, that's easysportstalk.com. All kinds of different ways to stay in touch with what we got going on. What is good, my brother?
Kellen, man, hump day of the week. Yesterday was the 1 month away from Cardinals opening training camp day. So July 27th, they open up camp. So we're creeping, man. We're getting close. Not that it's going to be anything to watch. I mean, not to say it's going to be a rough season, but we'll see.
Again, I think you root for chaos. That's what you do. That's what you root for. That's what you root for. A couple things that I wanted to get your thoughts on. I want to start with this one first. So if you remember growing up, everything was about loyalty to a team, not even to a team, but loyalty to the company that you work for. Have you been there 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 25? Did you get that watch? Did you get the gold plate? Whatever it was, because loyalty was such a big deal. When in essence, these teams really don't care about you. These organizations really don't care about you, because if you stop being productive, then therefore you stop being valuable. Having said that, in the world of sports, let's say since 2000, let's just say 2000, there's or once the movement of players began to happen a lot more, not just in basketball, but baseball, in football, there was the term loyalty was, why can't you be loyal to my team, says the angry fan, because if you go somewhere else, you'll make them better, right? And so loyalty was a big thing. LeBron ends up leaving Cleveland. You're not loyal. Why does he have to stay? Just because you want him to stay? That's I guess that's something that we can dive into. But what brings this up is the conversation around Dame Lillard. He's been in Portland for all of his career, and so he's one of those guys that fans root for. But it's getting to the point where the fans and the media realize that Portland's not going to be good anytime soon. So Dame, why don't you go ahead and go? Why don't you leave, Dame? Why don't you leave? Don't stay loyal anymore. Why don't you leave? And they seem to take issue with him wanting to stay and try to make it work, because there's good and bad about being comfortable, but for whatever reason, he's comfortable being in Portland. He wants them to build a team around him while he is in Portland. What's your take on loyalty when it comes to athletes and the way it comes to media, how sometimes they want your athletes to be loyal, sometimes they don't? You can not be loyal if you're Kevin Durant and leave OKC, but you can't go to Golden State. We want you to go where we want you to go. All those things. What's your take on loyalty in sports?
Well, it's a double-edged sword. I mean, it's funny how athletes are graded on such a different curve from every other industry. Not every, but we're expected to be loyal, but at the same time, you got to be a winner. But if you're not a winner, you got to get to somewhere where you are a winner. It's like the finger's always pointing in different directions. And for Dame, the fact that he wants to be there is great. I would, for me, I sometimes question, if the organization isn't going to do quite enough to make you a winner.
Yeah,
I mean, you might be fooling yourself to think that, this is the place to be. At the same time, what's to say he doesn't, I can't remember whether he's married or kids, but maybe he just likes where he is. And
right.
the
And he's from
great.
the Bay Area. He's from the Bay Area, so Portland to the Bay, it's not that far away. But so there's proximity there.
Yeah, and Portland's not a bad city. I mean, I've been up there several times. I've always been impressed with Portland. Maybe he just likes where he is, and he's hoping that the organization will bring somebody in there to make them a winner. I've never thought they were honestly even close. They've always been middle of the pack at best.
Right.
And then, McCollum, I think they stripped him of his sidekick, and they're still trying to find somebody to come up there and team with him. What's interesting is that Portland hasn't either been a great free agent destination,
Right.
or the organization just isn't good at selling the goods. You
Mm,
know,
yeah.
somehow, some way, we've seen what's happened. It's like the wild, wild west in terms of going out there and you can find players, you can get guys, be creative with the salary cap. You see what we've done here in Arizona with Phoenix. You would think that they were at some time. It's not like this has been a 1 or 2 year project with Dame. You think they would
Right.
have figured this out over time. As far as the people looking at Dame like, what's wrong with you? You need to go find a winner or get out of there. I still think it's a possibility that the organization might move him. It's just the other thing we have to throw in to the equation is Dame doesn't want everybody to think that he wants to leave either.
Yeah.
If the organization moves him, he would rather it be that the organization finally, they wanted to do right by him. It was a reboot for them, but they don't want, he might not want the fans to think that he really wanted out, you know. So
Yeah.
we'll see how it all goes. I always say, my opinion is, and like with all these deals and things that have happened, anything is possible. Don't fool yourself and think that nothing can't happen.
Mm-hmm.
And Dame being up there in Portland, they're having their conversations. It might be, they got time. It could happen. But the whole thing about athletes, like I said, it's the same. You do what's best for you and your family, and it's. I still get a kick out of, like I said, it's almost like athletes aren't human.
Yeah.
They're,
Yeah.
yeah. We'll see.
Couple of things that along that you mentioned, maybe he hopes that the organization will put the right pieces around them, and we all know that hope is not a strategy. hope is
No.
hope is not a
What
strategy.
is that? What you can hope in one hand and poop in the other. And
Oh my goodness.
what you got? You got dirty, stinky head. I was gonna say.
But and then the other is that what's interesting is if you're looking at fans that get so upset. I'm a Laker fan, and so Kobe was on the team, and that's an interesting relationship, so to speak, in terms of, let's say, my relationship with Kobe, because Kobe was a difficult teammate, and
Mm-hmm.
Kobe had some problems off the court. We
Yeah.
all know about Vail, Colorado, but I remember when he demanded he at one point in time demanded to be traded, and I was okay with it, because what does it matter to me? What if you don't want to be on the team, then don't be on the team, man. That's cool. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you. Go on and do your thing. But they kept him, and then we ended up winning a couple more championships. But I think what annoys me is that if if you're in accounting, if you're in construction, if you're wherever you are, and a better opportunity comes about, or you see that the organization the company that you work for has terrible leadership, or they keep telling you that we're going to get you better benefits, or we're going to get you better, better equipment to do your job, or whatever it is, and you don't see it coming, you're definitely within your rights to say, nah, I think I'm gonna go somewhere else. And that's why I think that's why it annoys me. I was gonna say upsets, but that's too strong a
Well,
word. It
you
annoys
know,
me when fans act like that.
well, you know what I've always found, I guess, curious is how fans with their athletes, they take it serious. They take it like, if you're leaving us, it's like, well, what's wrong with you and what's wrong with us? How
Brett
come you want
Favre.
to leave?
Okay, Brett Favre,
Yeah,
you can leave, but you not go to Minnesota. You better not go to Minnesota. Then he
yeah.
says, all right, I went to Minnesota.
It's
Well, I mean, what's
person.
the man? Good Lord.
It gets personal, man. I mean, let's go back to, like you brought up, LeBron James when he left Cleveland. Bro, they're out there burning jerseys. And
Really?
here's the crazy
Yeah.
part. I'm like, you know how much you paid for that jersey? And you out there burning it in the street. And
Yeah.
like, you hurting LeBron's feelings. He's sitting there somewhere in the hotel room, man, out there burning my jersey. Man, you got to remember, every jersey that you bought, that's money that's going into his pocket.
True.
So you
But
and then
also, if let's say somebody was burning your jersey, so as if you're watching this on YouTube, then you'll see the E. Smith jerseys in the back there. But what if you saw somebody? Wouldn't you think, really? Come on, y'all. Is it that serious, y'all? All I did was change teams, man. Is it really
that's what
that
I'm saying.
serious?
With what he did, it was how he did it though. But
Yeah,
at the
yeah, I
same
get
that
it.
so there's a that's part of the story. But at the same time, I'm telling you, bro. That now get this one. Those same people that were burning his jersey, he goes down to Miami. What they got to do when he came back, right? The king is back. There was my jersey. Oh damn, I gotta go. Hey, hon, where's the credit card? You gotta go buy another LeBron James jersey, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
who feels stupid now? And you know, I just some of the things that are done are just crazy, and some of the things that are said too. I mean,
Yeah.
when athletes have left, here's the other part that is bad. When athletes have left, like people don't understand, like they've gotten death threats, they've gotten
Yeah.
people have gone and done stuff to their houses, and because a lot of times athletes, it's known where they live. It's like it really goes over the top. How many times the CEO of I don't know, Best Buy, he
Mhm.
decides to take a job and go to Fry's. Somebody, ain't nobody out there burning up his front yard or doing anything like that. It's like,
Yeah.
where do we lose the I don't know, we
The
just lose
perspective.
the perspective, great word, lose the perspective when it comes to athletes and what you think they owe you. that's
Ooh.
that's the crazy part to it. It's
Ooh.
like, well,
Ooh.
I'll pay your salary. No, you don't. You go to the games and you watch and everything, and it is a lot of money to be going to these games and
It
whatnot,
is.
but you're not paying my salary. The dude that owns this team is one paying the salary, and I don't owe you anything. But fans, they get to the point where it's like, you know, man, they feel like you're beholden to them. It's like, nah, not really.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, bro.
Indeed, indeed. So Easy Sports Talk Show. And again, as I mentioned, you heard me mention YouTube a little bit ago. If you go to YouTube, just search Easy Sports Talk Show, you'll be able to subscribe and like us there. So please do. We are our footprint is widening every day. So okay, the College World Series just ended a couple days ago. And congrats to LSU. You're a guy that likes other sports, and I want, aside from the NBA, aside from the NFL, what sports are must watch for you? I don't care if they're the quirky ones, if the little niche ones. Which ones, especially maybe this time of year? What's Ed Smith like in terms of sports outside of NBA and NFL?
Well, this is the dead zone for me this time of year because I actually enjoy when we quiet down a little bit and I can watch my movies and stuff. But the honest goodness truth is, once football season gets here, we're locked in through it. I'm a big college basketball dude with my Tar Heels.
Okay.
I used to love college football. College football has gotten away from me a little bit. It's the same teams over and over and over again. If you're
Okay.
not Alabama, if you're not Georgia, and my nephew played at Alabama, so I was a fun 3-year run watching him. But I'm not a big Nick Saban fan, so it's like watching somebody you don't particularly care for succeed. I have a little bit of allegiance to Alabama, but I can't but I love college football on Saturdays. With best thing for fun, one of the best things used to be after we do our shows, we do our Saturday show, and then it's like, where are the games, the big games for college football?
You do
So
do that, yeah. You do, yeah. You
yeah,
on your,
yeah,
I'm saying, yeah. XYZ's playing, so I got to make sure to check it
yeah.
out. You are consistent with that for
Yeah,
sure.
but I can't, bro. Baseball. I love the fact that our Diamondbacks are doing well, and you and I have talked about speaking more on them. But the March through 162 during the regular season, I can't follow it, and it's crazy because I used to be in it. I used to play that
Yeah.
sport for almost a decade, and I thought it was the best thing since sliced bread. But just can't do the long baseball season. As far as the other, I've been known, bro, because before the background,
There's one. You know where I'm getting to. There's one that you love. That's when it's the beginning of the year, the calendar year, around the middle of the first quarter of the year. There's you fall in love with this one particular sport, this
Talking
one
about March
particular thing.
Madness?
No, not it, maybe it's
No.
not the beginning, but Little League World
Oh,
Series.
Lily. Oh, God. Yeah, yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. That is my joint, bruh. So now that is the one. That's the of my. I lock into
Hey,
that
everybody
one.
listening, did you hear the energy and the excitement in his voice at Little League World Series?
Little League World Series. I am so bad. If I have to run out because they have the games all through the day, I will
Yeah,
record the day and get back and then start watching before I left off and then go from one to the next to the next.
yep.
Man, I love it. It's crazy because I cannot I, I cannot watch Major League Baseball, but I will not miss an out of Little League World Series, man. I love it. I even start watching during the regionals sometimes before they get to Williamsport. Or I'm serious, bro. I get locked in on them little dudes and sometimes little girls. I love it. I don't know what it is. I think it's the purity of the
Okay.
game. They get back to, I mean, you can see the joy and exuberance on their little faces and the fact that they're out there and they play the game, for the most part. Now I will say as much.
Okay.
They are getting they're starting to emulate the big league guys a little too
Yes, they
much
are. Yes,
with
they
the
are.
pimping around when they hit a home run and different things.
Yep.
There's certain things that are creeping into even that level that it's like, come on, little dude, get around the bases, or
Well, you know how it
it's
was back in the day, because back in the day it was more along the lines of where what the batting stances. Remember when it was
oh
where
yeah,
you so and so has this batting stance. Oh, what does that
oh
look like?
yeah.
What's King Griffey's look like? What's what's I can't even think of it, but all the different players. So it stands to reason.
Well, even you watch even the little leaguers now, and they've got all the body armor on, and I'm like, come
Yeah.
on. I mean, bro, I wish I'd had some of that stuff on when I played back in the day. It really would have protected me. But it's like they what they see is what they do, and there's they see all this, the arm protector, the leg, this, that,
Yep.
it's like, golly, they just, they get down to first base and take them a minute just to get all that stuff off. But, I said, but all in all, like I said, I would say that's probably my third best, ranking my sports. Football, NFL is king. Tar Heels basketball is second. Then Little baseball is third, period, I think.
You said Tar Heels basketball is second, not college basketball, but
Nope,
Tar
not
Heels
college
basketball.
basketball. Yeah.
Tar
You
Heels
cut me right
basketball.
now, bro. I'd bleed blue.
And for me, when it's I'm a runner, and I never thought,
Mm-hmm.
even when I was in the zone in running, that I would ever do this. I have tuned in to the New York, I mean to the New York Marathon a couple times over the past few years, just to watch it,
Just to
just because
see.
you understand. I understand, not to that level, but on whatever level, lower level that I'm on, I understand the sacrifice, the discipline, more specifically, that it takes to be able to run at a high level, to even just finish a
Mm-hmm.
marathon. No matter, it doesn't matter if you finish last, like I finished second to last one year, or if you are finishing in the front of the pack, or if you're in the middle of the pack, whatever it is. And so that's one of my little quirky little things in terms of maybe a niche sport or event that I
Can
like
I
to
give you one?
do.
When I was before this back went out on me, most people that really know me, I was a pretty good bowler. And
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, my best game ever was 262.
Okay.
I used to get it in. I got 3 bowling balls down in my closet right now. So when I could still do it, it was nothing for me. I'd be flipping through and I'd see bowling on ESPN, and you think I'm a nerd.
Okay.
I would
Okay.
literally stop and I would sit there and watch pro bowling because I was always looking for tips and stuff like that.
I ain't
And
mad at you.
man, I used to love to watch bowling, and you would
See,
think, so yeah, I love to get I
learn about my
wish,
brother. Learn about my
yeah,
brother
yeah.
Ed. That's what's up. So Easy Sports Talk Show, again, easysportstalk.com. That's where you can go to the website, check us out. You can support us. You can figure out how, you can check the show notes on how you want to support the show and all of that. But leave me with this. Okay. So it looks like reports are that the Jets are going to be on Hard Knocks. I don't want to ask about what you think about the Jets and all that, because we can get into that, and I'm sure that we'll cover it during, in the preseason and all that good stuff. But if the Atlanta Falcons, that Super Bowl bound team that you were on for the Atlanta Falcons, if the Atlanta Falcons were on Hard Knocks back in the day with y'all, to begin that season, how would you have handled it? Because it has to be, and there's one thing, and I'll just kind of a peek behind the curtain. So I've done, we've done radio just individually and collectively for many, many years. I remember being doing a hip hop specialty show on Power 98.3 back in the day with my man Blaze Rock and Yaya Martinez, right? So being in the studio is different than, say, being on remote, where you might have some people, and we've had this happen. Hey, how you doing? Can you tell me about the team? And so there's a different energy, right? So it can be different answering questions, I would imagine, from a reporter as opposed to a camera being right in your face all the time. How would you have handled that back in the day? And how do you think that team maybe would have embraced or dealt with the cameras being there on a 24/7 basis for Hard Knocks?
It's a double-edged sword, because I would have loved to experience it, and maybe a lot more people would have known who Ed Smith was. But
because they would have done a story on you, they would have done something because of the baseball and football connection. Yes.
But at the same time, and I hope I would have handled it well. I think I would have, but I think it would have been such an intrusion on our season. First off, they wouldn't have picked a team as bad as, I think before Coach Reeves got there, the team was like 4-12 or something like that. And obviously it was new coaches and players coming in there. And who knows, maybe they would have picked it just for that reason. But I'm sure there were more interesting teams out there that year. But I do think it would have changed the dynamic of how we prepared and what we were all about. And it would have been a short period, because now they break it up where you do the preseason one, and then now the Cardinals experienced the in-season one last year. That's the one I would have wanted absolutely zero part of, period.
Right.
And what did we talk about last year when we found out that the Cardinals were going to be the in-season? We talked about, man, what things, if it's a great season, the camera's going to come in there and it might alter things. But if it's a bad season, it's just going to expose how bad it really is. And you can see, you could see some traits and some things going on. We talked about it. Nobody out there practicing. Kingsbury not having control of stuff. Just, distraction. One Mr. J.J. Watt, boy, he couldn't help but find that camera. And for me, it just would have derailed everything that I know there's a couple players on my team, and I will throw a name out there. Okay. Jamal Anderson, bro, he would have probably had makeup in the bathroom area. He'd have been getting done up so he could go get his camera time. That's how much, I know. That's
the first thing I thought about too. Yeah.
Oh God, that would have just destroyed us. And and it wasn't even. I don't know when it had this. I think it started after the 2000s, so it wasn't. It was shortly after. Shortly after. I'm glad we didn't have anything to do with it. Or I never, like I said, maybe a different team that wasn't going somewhere, but knowing the end route, meaning the fact that we made the Super Bowl run, I wouldn't want anything. Looking back in hindsight, I think that would have taken away from what we accomplished that year. Meaning it would have probably. We wouldn't have had the same focus in training camp. Some guys maybe would have got a little too much press and too much distraction. And so, no, I personally, I think I would have handled it well, because I've been interviewed and stuff like that. I'm a humble person, but I'm glad we didn't have it, because like I said, I probably wouldn't be able to say I played in the Super Bowl if we did.
Well, that is Ed Smith. I am Javon Adams. We do this thing again Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and we'll be bringing that Saturday show back. We'll be giving you some news here coming up shortly. Pardon me. But again, you can check us easysportstalk.com, YouTube. Check out Easy Sports Talk Show. And then also, if you want to learn how you can support the show, if you go to the site, you can also sign up for the newsletter to be able to get in on those things as well. But as we always like to say around this time, you can